$1,000 draft here. And Kadarius Toney, injury news. Jameson Williams, injury news. Brock Purdy starting news. We got a Justin Herbert extension. We have a lot of football news, and we have a very high stakes draft underway, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead. Let's get this going. We're going to pull up Underdog here. And yes, we are going to skip by the $3 draft, the $5 draft, the $25 draft. We are going to go straight into this $1,000 draft on Underdog Fantasy. And let's see how many spots are left in this tournament, ladies and gentlemen. There are 8 spots open. Okay. So we are going to fire up $25 drafts until this bad boy fills. So just to let everybody know, we are in the $1,000 draft lobby on Underdog Fantasy. If you want to come out and challenge your boy, you know where to find me. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. We'll see you out there. Now, we're going to go ahead. We are up in the $25 Best Ball Mania tournament. This is the largest tournament on Underdog. $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool, $3 million for first place, $1 million for second place, some crazy regular season prizes as well. But let's go ahead and let's get into this draft, ladies and gentlemen. 11 spots open in here, so I'm assuming I'm going to be drafting against a ton of you sickos. That's what I'm imagining. But Matt says another $1,000 Mason going crazy. We were not able to fill the $1,000 draft yesterday. So we would not be doing $1,000 drafts back-to-back days. Sadly, we do not have it like that. But we couldn't get the $1,000 draft going yesterday, so we will do it today, my friend. We will today. And we get pick 9. We actually picked it 9 yesterday. It's going to be very interesting is how the draft board looks today, especially with the Saquon Barkley news as well. Do we continue to take Saquon Barkley in the second round every chance we get? Y'all know Barkley is, I think, at this point, my second most drafted running back behind only Alvin Kamara. When we were getting Alvin Kamara past pick 100, when we were getting Saquon Barkley in the middle of the second round. I don't know where Barkley goes now. It's going to be a big, big draft. But of course, real quick, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. And if you're watching this as a video later on, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I live stream every single day. I have not missed a single day of live streaming since April, and I'm not going to miss a single day of live streaming until 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Fantasy football drafts nonstop. Beast for you out here with us at pick 1. Cole is in here with us at pick 2. So yeah, we have some competition. And let me know if you are in this draft with us. Adam says he's in here at 12. I'd imagine that the vast majority of people in this draft are with us. Now, let's see. BP in here at 3. Love to see it. Love to see it. But CMC off the board, numero uno. So who was in here at 1? Beast for you taking Christian McCaffrey over Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Bold call there, my man. Bold call. I took CMC in the only other $1,000 draft that we did earlier on, but we got CMC at pick 5. Yeah, gotta love getting Jefferson at 2. Arthur says you see Herbert got paid. Yes, a lot's happened. You have Barkley coming back to camp. You have Herbert getting paid. You have Toney going under the knife. You have Jameson Williams with an injury. I'm sure we're missing stuff. Maybe there's something going on in San Francisco in the quarterback room. I'm uncertain. I probably will not be talking about that unless I want to cry on this live stream tonight, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, Kelsey, Diggs, both off the board. Let's swing this back around. JJ Creamer goes Austin Eckler. So we are going to have some fun with this, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead. We are going to take our best friend here in Bijan Robinson. Y'all know I'm a former Texas Longhorn. Y'all know we interviewed the man at the NFL draft. Y'all know we ran into him at the gym last week. So every chance I get, I am taking Bijan Robinson. Fantasy football is meant to be fun. I want to root for the guys that I like. I like Bijan. Let's take him here at 9. But Brendan says, would you trade away Amon-Ra St. Brown and Amari for Devontae Adams as well as Drake London? No, I would not, my friend. No, I would not. Okay. Now let's move this. We have Lamb, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson all going picks 10 through 12. So yeah, A.J. Brown continues to slide down. If y'all remember, A.J. Brown was going pick 6, 7 earlier this offseason consistently. And now you're seeing more so A.J. Brown at the 1-2 turn. I mean, I kind of like to see it. I have a lot more CD Lamb than I do A.J. Brown. I have CD Lamb in 10% of drafts. I have A.J. Brown. Oh, I have A.J. Brown in 9% of drafts, so never mind. It's not like there's a massive gap between those two guys. Nick Chubb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, both off the board. Now that Devontae Adams goes, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reach on Saquon Barkley here. I understand we are reaching. I get it. I've already drafted the hell out of Saquon Barkley, but I think you can make a strong argument based off his target share, based off his age, based off so many different measures that Saquon Barkley should be a round 1 selection right now. We are drafting him at a discount later on. I'm fine going ahead. I'm fine paying the premium for him as well here. So let's start off Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley. And let's see if Underdog has updated the Saquon Barkley player prop here, ladies and gentlemen. So they still have Saquon Barkley at 975.5 rushing yards. So yeah, they never moved that line up or down, which did give us the confidence to continue to take Saquon Barkley at a discount when we were doing so previously. And of course, if y'all want to get into one of these drafts with us, which we are doing every single day on the live stream, these are Underdog drafts, the same place that you see all those player props in the videos, in the live stream right now. And of course, it's best ball, so no time commitment at all during the season. That's why it's not meant to replace your main fantasy football league, meant to just be extra fun on the side. There's no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams and I won $150,000 on Underdog last season. And if you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, and it's available in damn near every state. I mean, you can see all the states here that Underdog is available in. But yeah, you can find that link in the live chat description comment section. Nothing supports this live stream as much as Underdog, and you signing up to Underdog with code FLOG. That's how we're able to make this a full-time job. Live stream every single day, put out videos every single day. But we have Smith, Higgins off the board, 22-23. So what we're selfishly wanting to see, right, is we're selfishly wanting to see wide receivers make it back around to us. When we go running back out the gate, I mean, we definitely need to see wide receivers later on. And there are still 7 spots open in that $1,000 Underdog draft if anybody wants to hop in with us. We are currently sitting in the Mastiff draft lobby if anybody wants to get in that $1,000 league with us. Andrew says, do you think Herbert moves up a spot in Dynasty rankings with this extension? No. Like, I had Justin Herbert, QB5 in Dynasty item as the 105 overall in 12-team Superflex startups. I still have Burrow ahead of him, still have Hurts ahead of him, still have Allen, still have Mahomes. I don't really think changes too much, but Andrew's going 27. Let's swing this back around, ladies and gentlemen. Breece Hall goes 28. Josh Allen off the board, 29. Would be great for us to have DK Metcalf falling at 33, but of course, it's unlikely. We see him here go a big 30 instead. Let's see what happens. Ben says, Justin Herbert should be over Justin Fields. Yeah, Justin Herbert has been over Justin Fields in Dynasty Fantasy Football since the beginning of time and will be until the end of time. I don't think there's a single person on the planet that would say to take Justin Fields over Justin Herbert in Dynasty. Okay, so JJ Creamer goes Keenan Allen. So you know what we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen? We are going to listen to Bush Sports here, who wants us to ruin this draft, who wants us to go with another running back. Very similar to how we are taking Saquon Barkley nonstop as you had worries about him not playing. We'll go ahead and we will take Josh Jacobs at pick 33. And we will get that discount, say, what if Jacobs actually plays this next year? Leonel asking how much money we spent on drafts last year. Spent anywhere from like 10 to 15,000. Don't remember off the top of my head. We broke everything down in the video that says how I won $150,000 in fantasy football in 2022. It's titled something like that. We put it out last February at the end of last season. Broke down all the numbers and everything there. We spent anywhere from like 10 to 15 and won 150. Okay. Now, Gibbs goes 35. Now, what we need to see running backs get drafted. That's what we need, ladies and gentlemen. Take Naji. Take Travis Etienne. Give us a wide receiver on the way back around. I mean, we need some wide receivers here. Christian Watson goes pick 36. I definitely was hoping that we were going to get Christian Watson. Alex says hyper-fragile Mason. Yeah, we haven't built too many hyper-fragile teams so far this year. We've been trying to mix it in a little bit more over the past few weeks. If y'all don't know, a hyper-fragile build is actually what won Best Ball Mania the first year on Underdog. Now, with that being said, I've historically stayed away from hyper-fragile builds. At least I did last year and this season so far, because the wide receiver values later on are really non-existent on Underdog anymore. Whereas wide receiver, where running back, you can find values later on. So I don't necessarily think a hyper-fragile build is how you want to be going about it right now, but it is what it is. Now, Deebo Samuel off the board, 38. We definitely would have taken Deebo Samuel if he would have made it to us. I mean, Deebo Samuel would have been pretty much exactly what we needed. Now, it looks like this team, never mind. I thought they were just going to go best player according to ADP, which is what they did through the first 3 rounds. But we'll go ahead. We'll take Lamar Jackson at pick 40. So, really weird team here, ladies and gentlemen. We are setting ourselves up to just try to hammer in wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver through the coming rounds. Hopefully we have some guys making it to us that we like, but I see Lamar Jackson at pick 40, and I'm going to have a very hard time passing on that for a player like Mike Williams, for a player like Jerry Jeudy, especially if we were just shooting for the highest ceiling possible. I mean, it's a $25 buy-in, $3 million for first place. Last year we got 16th place, and that was one of the teams. We won $10,000 with that team last year, but I would way rather get first and win $3 million this year on Underdog. So we're shooting for the stars. I think Lamar Jackson has a much higher ceiling than what you have with the wide receivers in this range. At the same time, this allows us to only have to draft 2 quarterbacks in this draft and gives us the ability to grab an extra wide receiver a little later on. Okay. Now, let's move this over. Goedert Rebel says, why does it say it's a $1,000 draft? Yeah, so we are in the $1,000 draft lobby on Underdog right now, my friend, waiting for that to fill. As we are waiting, we're drafting the $25 Best Ball Mania teams. But if you want to get into that $1,000 draft with us, my friend, you can head over to Underdog right now and hop in the Mastiff. But I will put out a massive disclaimer, and I just want to be 100% with everybody here. Please, if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, do not go and get in the $1,000 draft. I wouldn't even hop in a $25 draft right away. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy, what I would recommend is getting into about 5 of the slow puppy drafts. Even if that's all you're going to do on Underdog, it will not only prepare you for your main fantasy football league this next year, but also you can test it out and see if you like Underdog in the first place. I would never tell anybody to go through and spend a bunch of money right away. Please just test it out with like the low buy-in leagues. But I've done over 1,000 drafts on Underdog. So, I mean, feel like I know what I'm doing. Probably don't, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Leonel coming out with a donation. Thank you. Says ESPN 10-team league. Bijan, Diggs, Higgins, Olave, Amari, Fields, Judy, Madison, and Joku. What do we think? Love this team, my friend. I mean, getting Chris Olave in round 4, even in a 10-team format, is just such a cheat code compared to the rest of the league. That is awesome, my man. That is awesome. Now, we are going to have no other option but to go wide receiver here. We are going to have no other option but to go ahead and take a wide receiver. Literally would not have mattered if the best wide receiver available was Jordan Addison. It didn't even matter if it was like Justin Herbert or Jordan Addison. In round 5, once we start out this way, we have to take best wide receiver available, and we don't have another option, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So let's see what we have on the way back around. See a lot of other people in the chat spamming that they wanted a different wide receiver. Well, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, the wide receiver that you want may make it back around to us in round 6. I would be very, very surprised if we would have had Chris Godwin making it back around to us in round 6. Okay. Let's see. Jason off the board at pick 59. Swing this back around. Think of an idea of what we want. What's the news on Pittman? Will be eased back into action. As long as you get out there and start producing, my friend, I'm fine with it. All right. I think I know what we're going to do at pick 64. We'll see. We'll see. Brandon on the clock. Goes J.K. Dobbins, 62. I'm going to go out on a limb and make one of the craziest bets you will see this year, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, no, never mind. I thought Lockett was going to go. And if Lockett was going to go, we were going to take Mike Evans and make the bet that maybe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers passing offense was somehow good. Probably wouldn't be, but maybe. You never know. But now that Lockett makes it to us, I feel like we just kind of have to go ahead and pull the trigger on Tyler Lockett here at pick 64. Does set ourselves up with the ability to go ahead and take Geno Smith later on. I'm actually completely fine with Geno Smith at his own cost. So yeah, I mean, we have to go wide receiver here. No matter what, we don't have another option. It just comes down to who are we getting. But Rolando coming out with the donation. Thank you, says, got the 10th pick in a 10-team PPR format. Any advice? I would say if it's going to be a 10-team league where you're only starting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex, I would love to grab Kelsey if he were to fall there to pick 10. Probably he doesn't. And instead, what you're most likely going to look to do is go running back on the turn if you can only start up to 3 wide receivers in a 10-team league. The more flex spots you add in, the more starting wide receiver slots you added, the more you are going to move wide receivers up those draft boards. But FF Addict, always happy to see you out, says, my man, thanks for all you do. What's your best guess on when the free agent running back starts signing? I'd imagine it begins happening in training camp, right? Or maybe towards the end of camp. Maybe the running backs just kind of want to do their own thing during the offseason. And I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Now you have Jahan Dotson off the board at pick 70. Obviously, what we are looking for is we are wanting wide receivers on the way back around. What's going to be crazy is, where does Kadarius Toney go in this draft? Y'all know Toney is one of the players we have avoided like the plague. We made a video earlier this offseason calling Kadarius Toney the worst pick in fantasy football. He was going in round 6 when we made that video. But let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens. Okay. This is the warm-up $25 draft, ladies and gentlemen. And everybody, please, in the live chat, if anybody asking like, oh, is this the $1,000 draft? Please tell them no, we're waiting to get in the $1,000 draft. I'm in the lobby right now waiting for it to fill. We are just doing $25 drafts until it does. And of course, if you want to get in one of these drafts with us, we're not doing high stakes drafts like this every single day. We're going to do a ton of cheap drafts as well. This is Underdog, promo code FLOCK, 100% a positive match. You'll also get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. You'll get all of that with promo code FLOCK. Best ball, so no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last season. And here is where Underdog is available in on this map. Also everywhere in Canada but Ontario. Okay. And Montgomery off the board at 75. Okay. Now, Jordan Addison goes 76. Let's swing this back around. Obviously, what we are looking at here is wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. Quentin Johnston goes 77. So the report on Kadarius Toney, just in case you did not see it, Kadarius Toney underwent surgery to clean up knee cartilage. Toney underwent surgery on his knee to clean up some cartilage on Tuesday, according to head coach Andy Reid. The starting wide receiver will be sidelined for a little while, and Coach Reid did mention that there's a chance Toney is available for week 1 against the Lions. So that is what you have with Kadarius Toney there, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm actually going to pivot off wide receiver, I guess, now that Dallas Goedert's available to us here. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Dallas Goedert, pick 81. I mean, don't get it twisted. We need wide receiver more than anything else. But I said it before the surgery. I will say it again now. I am taking Dallas Goedert over Kadarius Toney, and you cannot convince me otherwise. But Matthias coming out and says, hey, Mason, does Justin Herbert's huge new contract change his dynasty value in your opinion? No, I still think he is the same guy. I mean, I think he's QB5. I think he's the 5th player overall in dynasty startups behind Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, and Burrow. Let me know if you would move Justin Herbert ahead of any of those quarterbacks in the live chat. And let me know which quarterback you would put Justin Herbert ahead of. But let's swing this back around, ladies and gentlemen. Pacheco goes, Javonte Williams off the board as well. Okay. Brandon says he likes Lawrence over Herbert. I can't get there with you, my friend. Ryan says Herbert ahead of Lamar. Yeah, of course in Dynasty. Herbert was always ahead of Lamar. Bolivia wants Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts. I just view Jalen Hurts like the QB1 this year, so I have a hard time doing that. Now, Zay Flowers goes 86. I was actually possibly going to be looking at taking Zay Flowers if he would have made it to us. Elijah Moore goes. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Brandon Cooks. I understand you can make an argument. Well, Mason, you want to take Rashad Bateman, stack him with Lamar Jackson. Or, well, Mason, you want to take Kadarius Toney. He's in the Kansas City. I'm not taking Toney, guys. I'm just not doing it, okay? I don't know. I think you can make a strong argument that there are a few running backs in this range that are more appealing than Brandon Cooks. But especially once we go Dallas Goedert there at pick 81, we literally have no other option but to go wide receiver at this draft pick. So, I mean, really the only guys we're looking at are going to be wide receivers. And I think Brandon Cooks is better than Kadarius Toney. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. Now, Michael Thomas off the board, 91. Let me know in the live chat. Who would you rather have? Please, everybody spam the chat. We have over 1,000 people here. So we can get 1,000 messages in this chat right now. Just say the one word of the player that you would prefer. Would you rather have Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, or Kadarius Toney? Cooks, Thomas, or Toney? Let me know in the live chat. Okay. Cooks, Thomas, Cooks. Thomas, Cooks. Thomas, Cooks. So it looks like literally 0 people are taking Kadarius Toney. I don't see a single Kadarius Toney message. And it looks like overwhelmingly people are going Cooks. Now we have some Tonys mixing in, but very rare someone saying Toney there. Bateman off the board at 94. Dane says, are we valuing Devonta Smith? How are we valuing? Are we overvaluing Devonta Smith with Dallas Goedert healthy? I initially thought that, but if you went through it, if you looked at the splits with and without Dallas Goedert for Devonta Smith this past season, they're not as big as you would assume. I mean, Devonta Smith was still a pretty good wide receiver with Dallas Goedert in said offense. Now, we are 1 like away from hitting 400 likes on this live stream. If you have not done so already, go down there and drop a like on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you have Skyy Moore going 96. Kadarius Toney goes 98. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Now, Zach Charbonnet off the board. Let's swing this back around. So quarterback, we have Lamar. Running back, we have Bijan, Barkley, Jacobs. Wide receiver, we have Godwin, Lockett, Cooks. Tight end, we have Dallas Goedert. So we still need wide receivers. That's going to be the number 1 priority that we have with this team still. Dalvin Cook off the board, 102. Okay. Tyler Boyd goes 103, so I don't necessarily know how we're sitting here if we wanted to go ahead and take a wide receiver. If we want a wide receiver, we're going to have to reach on Odell Beckham Jr. Would we rather have Odell Beckham Jr. or would we rather have Dak Prescott? Hell, we have Brandon Cooks. I think we go ahead and take Dak. Essentially lock ourselves into not taking any more quarterbacks. We're going to be exclusively running back, wide receiver, tight end from here. See everybody in the chat screaming Odell or Lazard. We had one vote for Dak Prescott here with Matt. And Matt coming through and standing by our Dak Prescott selection. But that's it. Saram, always happy to see you. My man says, yes, Mason, hope you're doing well, mate. Glad to see you're smashing with the content now. With Saquon signing, would you put him ahead of Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry? I don't know if you saw our last rankings. I believe, did we not have them there already? I believe we already had Saquon Barkley ahead of Derrick Henry. I think we had him maybe neck and neck with JT. But yes, at this point, I would rather have Saquon Barkley over all those guys. I mean, hell, I took Saquon Barkley there as well. Okay. But Rashad Penny, Pat Freiermuth off the board. Like I said, we are no longer looking quarterback. So we're kind of hoping to see Anthony Richardson off. Odell Beckham Jr., definitely a play for us, considering the fact that we have Lamar Jackson and the fact that we are desperate for a wide receiver. Okay. Let's see what happens. Odell Beckham Jr. off the board at 108, ladies and gentlemen. So Odell goes ahead of Anthony Richardson in this draft, which is very interesting to say the least. Okay. This is the team. Okay, this team's picking up the turn. So maybe they end up going ahead and taking Anthony Richardson here. And it doesn't really matter what order they took, Odell Beckham Jr. or Anthony Richardson. Or maybe they pass on Richardson. Who knows? They go Samaje Perine instead, 109, which a little bit of a surprise to me. I mean, I personally probably go Anthony Richardson over Samaje Perine, but that's just me. So Allen Lazard also, we had news as well. He was a little bit banged up at practice. Doesn't sound like it's a super big deal one way or another. We're going to light this $25 on fire, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and take David Njoku. We are going to light this $25 on fire. The other guy that we were considering was Juju Smith-Schuster. We take Njoku here. We essentially lock ourselves into only having to take 2 tight ends through this entire draft. Now this is going to be a very interesting build where we have 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 4 running backs, and possibly 10 wide receivers. So maybe a 10 wide receiver team. And Lunar says, hate to say it, but this might be the worst team yet. This may be the worst team yet. Hopefully, we got all our bad juices out. That way, when the $1,000 draft fills, we can go ahead and we can crush in the $1,000 draft. But Saram says, may have missed that video. We'll check it out now. Are we winning more this year? Thank you as always. Cheers, mate. Absolute legend. No, thank you so much. And I was talking about this earlier in the live stream yesterday, and I want to be very clear with everybody here. So last year, obviously, we had incredible results. I'd say if you look over a large sample, I had better results than literally anybody else you'd be able to find. I was the only person to win multiple high stakes tournaments. Hell, my most drafted players last year, running backs. I mean, my 2 most drafted guys were Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, arguably the 2 biggest hits. My most drafted quarterback, Mahomes, round 5, the biggest hit. My most drafted wide receiver, Waddle, round 4. We printed money, won $150,000. Last year was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But to be very clear with everybody here, I am not expecting that to be the case this next season. There's so much volatility. The range of outcomes on these guys from a fantasy football perspective is so damn wide that it's very difficult to project out exactly what you're going to have. That even though we won money last year, I'm probably expecting that to come back down to earth. Like, I'll probably spend like $10,000 in underdog drafts this season. Last year off that investment, we made like $150,000. This year, if we like lose, if we break even, I'll be happy this year, to be honest. I'll be happy. So far, we've done very, very well avoiding guys like Kadarius Toney, Jamison Williams, taking the value with where we had it with Saquon Barkley. We also have a lot of Lance, which isn't looking too great, but I want to be very clear. My expectation this next season is we don't have the year that we did a year ago. Like, I'm expecting we come back down to earth in a big time way. Now, Elijah Mitchell off the board at 125. Okay. Cham says, Mason, I need to take a wide receiver here. Also, Mason proceeds not to take a wide receiver. Yeah. I would say that's probably the theme of this overall draft, right? Like, I need a wide receiver, so let's not take a wide receiver. I need a wide receiver, so let's take a tight end. Yeah, I think that sounds like this entire draft at this point. Okay. Godwin, Lockett, Brandon Cooks. I'm relying on you, my dudes. I need y'all. Need you to come through for us. Okay. Let's see. Ethan goes Jarrett McKinnon, 127. We cannot take quarterback or tight end. We are exclusively running back, wide receiver from here on out, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Rondale Moore. I mean, hell, at the end of the day, we need a wide receiver. It would be nice to have Brandon Cooks make it back around to us. I think we're going to try to get a little greedy and see if we can get the combination of both Rondale Moore as well as Michael Gallup and set up the Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup double stack with Dak Prescott. But at the end of the day, I think that there's a real shot Gallup makes it back around to us in round 12. I think that there's really no chance that Rondale Moore does. But, and Margaret Ward says the real Jimmy G signed with the Saints, LOL. I don't get that, my friend. I don't get that. But Teague says, newer viewer, always looking forward to the daily streams. Thank you so much, my friend. Thanks for the constant content. Keep it up. Use code FLOCK. I know I did. Well, thank you so much, my man. And yeah, I don't know if y'all heard about this yet, ladies and gentlemen, but there's a site, Underdog Fantasy. It has best ball drafts, no time commitment at all during the year. And also pick'em lines. My favorite pick'em lines right now being Jamar Chase plus 25 receiving yards versus Devontae Adams. And rumor has it, if you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And rumor has it, it's available in these states. I don't know. It's just rumors, just what I've heard on the streets. Could be wrong, but... Oh, yeah, Jimmy Graham signed with the Saints essentially to go ahead and retire his jersey. I don't know. Retire in New Orleans. The biggest takeaway that I had from Jimmy Graham's career, at least the biggest thing that I remember, is whenever he got franchise tagged, trying to get franchise tagged as a wide receiver instead of a tight end. That's like the number one thing that I remember from Jimmy Graham. Obviously, him and Gronk were just straight up cheat codes. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Michael Gallup. I mean, we are going to set ourselves up with the Dak Prescott double stack of Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup. Yes, I think it's going to be very important to stack Dak Prescott, given the fact that with Dak, you're not going to see some massive 40-point spike weeks unless he has a ton of passing volume, right? Like, you can't expect Dak Prescott to go out there and have, say, 60 rushing yards and 2 to 3 rushing touchdowns. That's not happening. That can't happen with Lamar Jackson in a game, which is fine, which is why I'm fine taking Lamar Jackson unstacked. But since that's not going to be the case for Dak Prescott, I definitely want his pass catchers where we can grab them. And I think this worked out perfectly for us. I didn't expect to get Rondale Moore and Gallup unless we took them in this order, right? I think if we would have gone Gallup 129, Rondale Moore wouldn't have made it to us at 136. Okay. Let's move this back around. I think this is coming together. I think we get pretty lucky to have Gallup make it to us there where we so desperately needed him. Okay. Luke says this Van Jefferson price seems kind of wild at this point. Don't tell that to Bush Sports. Don't talk down on his guy. I mean, obviously, Bush Sports was all over him at a much cheaper cost, but nonetheless. Okay. Now we have a bunch of tight ends, quarterbacks going off the board, which is phenomenal with us. I mean, for us, right? It's like the primary thing that we're looking for. We can still take a running back. We're probably going to go with only 4 RBs with this team. Now, of course, maybe we mix it up a bit. Like if we're looking at round 18 and we take a 5th running back instead of a 10th wide receiver, don't scream at me for it, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Jonathan Mingo off the board at 144. Tank Bigsby goes 145. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You know you want some of these quarterbacks and tight ends. You know you want Derek Carr. You know you want Cole Kmet. You know you want Matthew Stafford. Come on. Okay, Algier off the board at 146. Okay. Swing this back around. We just hit 500 likes in the live stream. Thank you so much for everybody going down there, dropping a like in the stream. Handsome 102 says just use code FLOCK. Well, my man, you didn't even have to tell me that you did. I see by your name, all right? Handsome gentleman, use code FLOCK. It's that simple, all right? It's that simple. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay. Now, Conjure Miller goes, Devin Singletary. So a pretty big run on these running backs here, possibly setting ourselves up with the ability to wait until running back in round like 16, 17 and actually take 5 of them. Okay. Let's see. Derek Carr off 150. Great for us, of course. Chart goes 151. MVS goes. I was actually looking to take MVS. You'll know I've taken a lot of Rashee Rice. I've taken a lot of Marquez Valdes-Scantling just because I've stood by the entire offseason. The Kansas City Chiefs, a wide receiver depth chart being wide open. I think it could be anybody's job. We're going to take KJ Osborne. I mean, we're going to keep it simple here, ladies and gentlemen. Osborne falls 10 picks past his ADP, and I need a wide receiver. All right? It's that simple. Running back now, we have Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. Quarterback, we have Lamar Jackson, Brandon Cooks. Tight end, we have Dallas Goedert, David Njoku. And wide receiver, we have Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Cooks, Rondale Moore, Michael Gallup, KJ Osborne. But let's hopefully get another wide receiver that we like on the way back around. We'll see. We'll see. You have Cole Kmet falling a considerable amount here in this draft. Okay, do we have any news on Marvin Mims that's not popping up? Jordan Love goes 156. Good for us. Cole Kmet 157. Good for us. Deontay Foreman off the board. Shaheed goes. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Alec Pierce. I'm surprised to see that team take Shaheed over Alec Pierce. I mean, they had Anthony Richardson. I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, we needed a wide receiver. Alec Pierce falls about 5-6 picks past ADP. We'll go ahead and we'll pull the trigger and hopefully have someone that randomly spikes into our starting lineup, right? I guess the main goal here in these underdog drafts is have a wide receiver that can randomly drop 20 points and get into our starting lineup. Okay. So now running back Bijan, Barkley, Jacobs, quarterback Lamar and Dak, wide receiver Godwin, Lockett, Cooks, Rondale Moore, Gallup, KJ Osborne, Alec Pierce, tight end Goedert and David Njoku. Okay. Let's move this down. Brandon says, how many in the $1,000 draft lobby? Not enough, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we are not close to firing up a $1,000 draft, but put out the bat signal again. We are in the $1,000 draft lobby on Underdog in the Mastiff tournament. If anybody wants to come out and draft with us. As soon as that fills, we will go ahead and we will stop the $25 drafts and we will switch over to that $1,000 draft on Underdog. Okay. Now, Hyatt goes 159. Swing this back around. Campbell off. We are running back wide receiver, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we're looking at. I mean, we have Lamar and Dak, not really interested in quarterback. We have Goedert and Njoku, not really interested in tight end. Okay. Tim Patrick goes 172. Patrick definitely was going to be a player that we were looking at here. Tyjae Spears off 173. This was my exact question as well. The Mastiff says it has 119 entrants. I thought the same thing, my friend, but I'm telling you right now, we're not close to filling. What it may be is there may be a bunch of people who just entered multiple times waiting for them to fill to claim their spot. I don't know. But we're going to take Kenneth Gainwell. We'll get him here as our running back 4. We've already made the bet on the Philadelphia Eagles offense by taking Dallas Goedert. We need a running back at some point. I mean, considering the fact that we wait to grab our 4th guy until the very end of the 15th round, I wouldn't hate the idea if we decided to take another running back in this draft. But, I mean, that's not plan A. Plan A is just to take 10 wide receivers and not another running back after this. But we'll see. Oh, it's the slow draft. That's why. Tomino says, what's the chance the Mastiff doesn't fill all the way by the start of the season? I might do another one if you think it won't. Yeah, so I get a question about this a lot on Underdog. I mean, for the right reason. I'll show all the tournaments right now and talk about the chances that they may not fill, because if a tournament doesn't fill on Underdog, it's very bad for people at the Underdog headquarters, but it's very good for everybody in the drafts. So I'll explain that in just one second, and we can look at how many people have entered into each tournament. Bedard says this team actually came together nicely. I mean, if Godwin, Lockett can hold the fort down at wide receiver and we can get some random other spike weeks at wide receiver, I agree. I think we should be straight up elite at quarterback. I think we should be very good at tight end with Dallas Goedert, David Njoku. Running back, we should be great with Bijan, Barkley, Jacobs, Kenneth Gainwell, possibly another guy. Comes down to, can the 10 wide receivers we have be serviceable enough to randomly spike into our starting lineup when we need them to? Okay. Okay, let's move this over. Tyquan Thornton off the board at 180. Brock Purdy goes 182. Shakir off the board, so we're going to keep this simple. We've already bet on the Giants offense by taking Saquon Barkley. Let's go ahead. Let's make that bet again by taking Isaiah Hodgins here. He falls 11 picks past ADP. We still need a wide receiver, so we're going to grab him. So let me show y'all this team, and let's hop into another Underdog draft. And I'll finish round 17, round 18 on my phone. I'll definitely let y'all know exactly what we're doing. But here we have Bijan, Barkley, Jacobs, Kenneth Gainwell at running back. Wide receiver, we have Godwin, Lockett, Brandon Cooks, Rondale Moore, Michael Gallup, KJ Osborne, Alec Pierce, Isaiah Hodgins. We're going to either add 1 or 2 more wide receivers. Quarterback, we have Lamar and Dak. Tight end, we have Dallas Goedert and David Njoku as well. But let's go ahead. Let's hop into another Best Ball Mania draft, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the $25 buy-in on Underdog, $15 million prize pool. And actually, let me first talk about the possibility of tournaments not filling on Underdog. So if y'all see the G on the Underdog tournament, right? So Weekly Winners has the G there. Best Ball Mania has the G. The Pomeranian Bud Superflex has the G. The Slow Puppy has the G. That means it is a guaranteed tournament. So if you look at, say, Best Ball Mania, right, or Weekly Winners, the prize pool is $15 billion. Even if only $10 million of teams get drafted, Underdog guarantees a $15 billion prize pool. So Underdog has put $5 million of their own money in the pot. Now, do I think Best Ball Mania doesn't fill? No, Best Ball Mania is going to fill. I'm pretty damn confident in it. Hell, it's almost 50% full and it's not even August. Weekly Winners. This is a tournament that's been filling slowly. It's at 27%. I would say it most likely fills. Pomeranian Bud Superflex definitely filling. The Slow Puppy definitely filling. The Mastiff most likely filling as well, because if people think that Underdog is going to have to throw money into the pot, then they're all of a sudden going to go and join it quickly. Now, that's not to say every tournament Underdog has, they fill. There have been a lot of tournaments on Underdog where they haven't filled, and all of a sudden, Underdog has had to go through and provide extra cash in it with an overlay. So that's the hope of, obviously, all drafters, is that maybe like Best Ball Mania doesn't fill and Underdog has to throw in an extra like $5 million in the league pot or whatever it may be. Do I think that's likely? Probably not. Now we're going to be here at pick 5, ladies and gentlemen. So this is how we're going to cue this up. We're going to go Jefferson, Chase, the wide receivers here, and then Christian McCaffrey. Whoever makes it to us, we will take in this order. But going back to the other team real quick, we are going to take Darius Slayton as our 9th wide receiver. Pair him up with Isaiah Hodgins. Continue to make the bet on that New York Giants passing offense. Okay. Teague says baseball drafts don't fill daily. Yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of tournaments Underdog has where they have to go through and they have to put extra cash into the league pot. Now, of course, don't be crying for Underdog by any means. It's a good thing for us. But do I expect that to happen with do I expect Underdog to have to put millions of dollars into a league pot? No, I do not. Because if it looks like that would happen, then all of a sudden everybody is going to sprint into that draft immediately, right? So there can be an overlay in these Underdog drafts. I never expect it to be like anything crazy. Okay. Now, Jefferson, Chase off the board 1 and 2. In the last draft, we saw CMC go off the board at 1. Okay. In that other draft that we were in, I may actually pull the trigger instead of a 10th wide receiver. We may pull the trigger on like Kareem Hunt. We may take a running back here. Okay, CMC off the board. So we are going to get one of these wide receivers, whether that is Cooper Kupp or Tyreek Hill. Okay, we are going to get Tyreek Hill at pick 5. Hell, honestly, I kind of prefer Tyreek Hill over Cooper Kupp anyway. So not going to sit here and cry about this at all. Okay. Now, Travis Kelce off the board at pick 6. And we are currently about 10 likes away from hitting 600 likes on this live stream. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. And of course, if you want to get into the next draft with us, we're doing this every single day on the live stream until 2024. These are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the year. This is the same place where you have the pick'em lines on Underdog. My favorite pick'em line right now is going to be Ja'Marr Chase plus 25 receiving yards in comparison to Davante Adams. And if you sign up to Underdog with the link in the live chat, the link in the description, the link in the comment section, they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Available in damn near every state. You can see the map here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not the $1,000 buy-in. We are waiting for the $1,000 buy-in to fill. Hopefully it does. It's not looking too likely at this point, but prayers up that the $1,000 buy-in fills. We're doing the $25 Best Ball Mania drafts right now on Underdog until the $1,000 does. Now, Joshua says, starting a Dynasty League with friends, any tips on what site to use, rules, articles to read? First thing is, I'd say go subscribe to the Dynasty Football Flock. I've been playing Dynasty since 2014 in 20 plus leagues each season. I actually started on YouTube with Dynasty Fantasy Football as my main thing. Love Dynasty Fantasy Football. I'd say the best place to play Dynasty right now would be Sleeper. And I have a video of setting up a Dynasty League. So search Dynasty Football Flock setting up a league. And that should help you out. Okay. Now, Nick Chubb off the board at pick 15. Ian says, who remembers when this was the Dynasty? Yeah, long time ago, my man. Waddle off the board 16. Davante Adams makes it all the way down to 17 in this draft. Wild to see Davante Adams that low. Patrick Mahomes goes 18. Barkley off the board. So we'll go ahead and we will take Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, it seems like every other player right now is on the PUP. Not going to be too concerned about Jonathan Taylor. I think he should be good to go this next season. Grabbing a pick 20, it's going to be something I'm excited about. In the last $1,000 draft we did on Underdog, the only other $1,000 draft we did, we actually took CMC at 5, Jonathan Taylor at pick 20. But I'm excited about this price point regardless. Okay, Chris Olave off the board immediately after. Okay. Pollard goes 22. I was hoping that we were going to have another Saquon Barkley start. Not going to lie to you. I was hoping that Saquon Barkley made it to us a big 20, but Devonta Smith off the board here at 23. Naptown says, is Barkley rising? I think he should be. I think Saquon Barkley should be in consideration at the 1-2 turn. I mean, Saquon Barkley, one of my most drafted running backs alongside Alvin Kamara. And, I mean, now that he's confirmed playing this next season, I have no... I wouldn't see a reason why he should be going any lower than he is. I mean... Jalen Hurts goes 26. Super sad to see. Y'all know we were hoping we got Jalen Hurts. T. Higgins goes 27. Breece Hall goes. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take DK Metcalf. Don't feel super comfortable with this selection. Like, I think Metcalf's kind of in the same tier as all these other wide receivers. I feel like taking Metcalf is kind of just punting around saying, you know what? I'll take the secure option. I'm not going to swing for the fences on someone like Josh Jacobs like we do in the last draft. But the last draft, we also took Josh Jacobs. I believe it picked 33, not here at 29. So in this one, let's be a little bit more boring with the selection. Let's take DK Metcalf at 29. And I'm sorry, I'm not taking Mark Andrews. I mean, we tried to make a Mark Andrews team work yesterday, and I legitimately hated it. I can't take Andrews with where he goes here. I'm sorry. Okay. Ben says, has Barkley ever outscored Derrick Henry in 2018? Yes, he did. Okay. Now, Calvin Ridley off the board at pick 32. Now, I feel much more comfortable with this start than we did in the last draft. I think the last draft was very unique, fun to do, and good practice. But it definitely pigeonholed us where we didn't have a lot of flexibility. Here in this draft, we have a lot of flexibility to go through the rest of the way, right? We have a lot of flexibility with this. Okay. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs off the board, 35. Christian Watson goes 36. I've noticed more and more Lamar Jackson making it down to round 4. Like, it seems like it's a common thing now for Lamar Jackson to go around 4. Hell, we get him in the last draft, but Wideout says Josh Allen. How the hell did I not notice? Josh Allen goes pick 12 in this draft. That team at 12 starts off Josh Allen, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, DeAndre Hopkins. Going with a super unique build there at 12. I mean, there are not going to be any teams that look like that. Okay. Jerry Jeudy off the board at 40. ETN 41. ETN definitely a target for us in this range. McLaurin goes as well. This team has zero wide receivers through the first 3 rounds. So you assume that they kind of have to go wide receiver. Hell, they go Joe Burrow instead. I don't really understand that. We're going to take Najee Harris here as our second back at pick 44. Like I said, I'm a little bit more nervous about Najee Harris than I was earlier this offseason. I have moved Travis Etienne ahead of Najee Harris in our rankings. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, getting Najee Harris at pick 44 will be something that I'm completely fine with if you're seeing him pretty much back-to-back with guys like DJ Moore, Drake London. But I want to look at that team at pick 6. They go Kelsey, Barkley, Jacobs through the first 3 rounds, which I think is pretty unique. I think it has upside. I think it makes some sense. What I don't understand, though, is like you don't have Higgins. You don't have Chase. You need a wide receiver still clearly. I don't know. It seems like a really aggressive spot to be taking Joe Burrow when you have 0 wide receivers in the first 3 rounds. At least in my mind. Ian says, basically the man, can you make a video about great values in ESPN PPR redraft leagues? I already did this, my friend, with wide receivers and running backs. Look at the videos we had last week that were titled like best values at running back or best values at wide receiver. And then they will be in those videos, my friend. Okay. Hawkinson off the board at pick 50. Hank passed on the clock. This is a team that has CMC Pollard at running back. Wide receiver, Higgins, Mike Williams. They go Justin Herbert. Really like that. Okay. DeMarcus off the board. Gracias. We're going to go ahead. We are going to pass on Brandon Ayuk. I'm sorry. I do not like Brandon Ayuk at this price point. We are going to take Kenneth Walker. But Carson asking, how do I drop in the next draft? Hop in the next draft. Is it random? Yeah, so essentially you just join at the same time as us. Now, of course, that is not going to guarantee that you get in the same exact draft as us. If, say, you only have like $5 on Underdog or whatever, and you go, man, I only have $5. I want to just guarantee that I get in a draft with you and I don't hop into a random one with a bunch of other people from the live stream. Then I'd say wait until we do the private drafts. And when we do those private drafts, I'll send out a link in the live chat and I'll verbally say out loud, this is a private draft. It's going to be a $5 buy-in, blah, blah, blah. And then you can join that one directly. That way you don't have to worry about getting in a random one. But hopefully that helps, my friend. But yeah, we're going to take Kenneth Walker at pick 53, allowing the team there that decided to pass on wide receiver through the first 4 rounds to get their first wide receiver with Brandon Ayuk at that point. Okay. Let's get this carbonated water going, ladies and gentlemen. Is it sparkling water, carbonated water, whatever the hell you want to call it? We need it. Oh my gosh, that's good. Okay, Aaron Jones, Alexander Madison off the board, 56, 57. George Kittle goes 58. Let's see. Like I said, I think that we give ourselves a lot of flexibility when we go Tyreek Metcalf through the first 3 rounds. I like our team. I like our team a lot. Quarterback Lawrence, not too appealing, right? At least in round 6 for us. I mean, we don't have ETN. We don't have Ridley. We don't have Kirk. If we take Lawrence, we pretty much pigeonhole ourselves into drafting Evan Ingram as well as Zay Jones, which is something I'm fine doing. But I definitely want to get a value on Lawrence if that's going to be the strategy there. Okay. Lawrence goes 63, so we're not going to get the elite level quarterback in this draft. It is what it is. I mean, hell, we can mix in some 3 QB builds, right? Of course, we're never going to force anything. We're going to let the value fall to us and build our teams appropriately based off how the draft board falls. Okay. Dobbins, 64. So it looks like this will be a wide receiver selection for us here. But Reed Watkins, a longtime member of the flock out here, says, what's up, Mason? Any room for team improvements? We have Fields, Henry, Sanders, Jefferson, Waddle, Andrews, and DeAndre Swift. What I really like about this team is when you're playing in a league where you're only starting 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, you want the elite level tight end. You want the quarterback that has a lot of upside, which is what I feel like we have exactly here with Justin Fields as well as Mark Andrews. Really, the only thing I would point out is if you're already making that bet on Mark Andrews, I wouldn't mind at all if you wanted to go through and possibly double down on said bet and see if we could package together Justin Fields in a small piece to get to Lamar Jackson. I think having that Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack in your league could be very exciting. Outside of that, yeah, not too much. Love the team. I mean, having Jefferson, Henry paired up in a format like that does seem like a straight up cheat code, my friend. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Tyler Lockett here at 68. We already took DK Metcalf earlier on in this draft to pick 29. So we've already made the bet that the Seattle Seahawks passing offense is better than people expect. So might as well double down on that bet and then look to take Geno Smith as well later on in this draft. But Landon says inbox offer in a dynasty format. Send Fields, Pat Freiermuth, receive Lawrence and Hawkinson. Well, this is tough because I'd rather have TJ Hawkinson than Pat Freiermuth. And I would rather have Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields. So it's tough because we're upgrading at quarterback, but at the same time, we're upgrading at tight end. Obviously, my man, I'm joking. Just go ahead and just take that deal. I mean, phenomenal trade there. Okay, now Dameon Pierce off the board at pick 71. Okay. Kyle Pitts off the board as well. James Conner goes 74. So it looks like we may get a value making it to us on the way back around here. Quentin Johnson, 75. I know who we want. I don't know if we get him. Oh, hell, we have Kenneth Walker on this team as well. I didn't even notice that. So we're overkill here when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks offense. I'm an idiot. I can't believe I didn't notice that. I don't necessarily know if we changed our decision to go Lockett there. I don't know how many pieces of this Seahawks offense we really, really want. But nonetheless, we'll go ahead and we'll take Dotson. I was actually hoping that we were going to get Dallas Goedert with this selection, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. Now, Montgomery goes 78. Pickens goes 79. So that team there that takes Deontay Johnson at 55 gets the George Pickens value as well. Couple interesting teams there at 6 and 7 because they go ahead and they decide to pass on wide receiver through the first 3 rounds. Which is really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, hey, and I forgot to mention this to y'all, ladies and gentlemen, but let me go ahead and get this up. I have a pretty big ask from you. If we can pull this off, it would be great. If we could pull this off, it would be, I don't know if it would be better than us going to the NFL draft, but it'd be pretty damn close. I'm sure some of y'all already saw this on Twitter, but just in case you did not, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your work. Okay. Rashad White, Javonte Williams, both off the board. I mean, hell, we have a lot of Javonte Williams. Happy to see him rising up. Okay. Here's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I put out a tweet about an hour ago. Adding Trey Lance. Obviously, big day today. Brock Purdy's back in practice. Y'all know Lance, my most drafted player in fantasy football this year. Someone that I want to root for. Someone that I want to do great things. So if you could go respond to this tweet at Trey Lance and say, we would love to see you on here. Say, I would love to see this. I would love to see this. Mason's Trey Lance's #1 fan, whatever it may be. If you could help us out, if you could get Trey Lance on this channel with us, that would be awesome. Okay, we have over 1,000 people in this live stream right now. If all of y'all going at him, he will 100% see it. He will only say nice things, okay? Only say nice things as well. Please. Y'all know I'd love to have our guy on. Y'all know I'd love to see it. Okay. But Sean Watson going off the board there at 89. Thank you. Wideout says will do. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am shooting my shot. We are trying to get the guy on here. Trying to get him on. But Treylon Burks going off the board to pick 90. Swing this back around. Bateman goes, do we take Tua? Do we roll the dice that he makes it back to round to us to pick 101? Is grabbing Alvin Kamara that important for us to roll the dice? Let's just take Tua. In reality, no teams after us should take him. Like, he's already passed the Jalen Waddle team, and honestly, if I was off the live stream, I probably would shoot for the absolute fences, take Alvin Kamara and see if we could get Tua on the way back around in round 9 to pair up with Tyreek Hill. But because I am on the live stream, I don't know how much we'd like to see it. But we'll see. But thank you so much. I see everybody blowing up the tweet. Thank you. Thank you. Nick says, I'll take Tua. No good value worth the risk. I mean, I like the risk of Alvin Kamara, to be honest. You know, I like swinging on Kamara there. But Jameson Williams, 97. Anthony Richardson goes 98. Vadim says, done. Mason, I X'd a reply and re-X. I forgot Twitter changed to X. I don't know what the verbs are, but. Okay. Now, we're going to take Skyy Moore. I don't think this is too difficult of a decision. Obviously, Skyy Moore had some great news surrounding him possibly operating in the slot, as well as the Kadarius Toney injury. So now that Toney is someone that we don't really have to worry about, let's go ahead and let's just take Skyy. I mean, I think the Chiefs depth chart is still wide open. I stand by that. I will be targeting Rashee Rice. I will be targeting Marquez Valdes-Scantling like we usually do. But, yeah, no reason not to take Skyy Moore here. I think Skyy Moore will be a player that probably continues to rise in ADP, even though he's risen already so much. I mean, based off this news. Devon Achane goes 103. Very rarely see that. Chicken Cheesesteak says, let's see a Trey Sermon selection for the like and comment on this. What's up with y'all and Trey Sermon? I've seen some people. Is that just you, Chicken Cheesesteak, hyping up Trey Sermon for a while? I have seen some people talking about Sermon a considerable amount. Okay. Okay, Zach Charbonnet, Devon Achane off the board. Rashad Penny goes as well. Yeah, a bunch of running backs going right after we take him. I mean, we're fine at running back, right? We have JT, Naji, and Kenneth Walker. I'm feeling comfortable there. 3 running backs on their rookie contracts that profile to have the ability to be 3-down players. But this is our number 1 target, ladies and gentlemen. We have DK Metcalf. We have Tyler Lockett. We have Kenneth Walker. The only way this team is good this next season is if Geno Smith is the starting quarterback. I mean, not only if Geno Smith is the starting quarterback, but if Geno Smith is good. And Geno Smith goes at pick 110. So sadly, we are not going to be able to get Geno Smith. The team that has CeeDee Lamb takes Geno Smith over Dak Prescott. Hashtag live stream struggles. But it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make it work. We already have Tua. Okay. Okay, Cousins off the board at 112. And there are a lot of values falling here in this draft right now. Samaje Perine goes 113. I know who we want. I don't know if he makes it to us. Jarrett McKinnon off 140. Yeah, people are just going and getting their guy at this point. Yeah, there's so many players I'm fine with. If this team does not take Tyler Boyd, they have no idea what they're doing. And I would love Tyler Boyd to fall to us. But I'm just saying this. They took Burrow with no Higgins, no Chase. They have 3 wide receivers. Tyler Boyd falls 11 picks past ADP. That team is so damn lucky to get Boyd there. Now, we are going to go ahead and we are going to, ladies and gentlemen, get our guy. I want more of him. I want as much of him as I possibly can. we're going to take Pat Freiermuth at 116. We have Naji. We've already made that bet on this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Let's load our guy in here at 116. I think this also sets ourselves up with the ability to possibly only have to take 2 tight ends in this draft as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Khalil Herbert, 117. Dak Prescott goes 118. Tomino says, can't decide Pickett or Bryce Young for a quarterback too. Dynasty, obviously, you'd rather have Young. I think this year I'd probably prefer Pickett. Dak Prescott goes 118. Did that team take Pollard? Yeah, I love this team at 3. Team 3 right now sitting with CMC, Pollard, Gibson at running back. Wide receiver, Higgins, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Quentin Johnston. Quarterback, they have Herbert double stacked with Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston. They have Dak Prescott stacked up with Tony Pollard as well. I love that team at 3. Okay. Swing this back around. Obviously, not great. That Lazard's banged up, but in general, I mean, if you're going to get a player, I mean, what? At this point, 14 picks, past ADP on Underdog at a position we kind of need. If nobody else is able to get him at this price in this tournament, not the worst thing in the world, just in case if he does end up being good, then hell, maybe we can outkick all the other teams that took him at the beginning of the 10th round, at the end of the 9th. Okay, yeah, let's go Lazard 125. Zay Jones goes 126. What I would have actually preferred is having like Juju Smith-Schuster make it to us at 125 or Dak Prescott. I mean, if we could have had Freiermuth and Dak make it, that would have been beautiful. But, I mean, when we're sitting there at 116, you have to assume that you only get a shot at one of those guys. Like, there's no way in hell both Dak Prescott as well as Pat Freiermuth are going to make it back around to us to pick 125. Kind of have to just call your shot there between those two options. And ladies and gentlemen, we are closing in on 800 likes. If you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. And of course, somehow someone watching this is not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. We are live streaming every single day. I've not missed a single day of live streaming since April and will not miss a single day of live streaming until 2024. And if you want to get into one of these drafts with us on the live stream, or if you want to go check out any of those pick'em lines on Underdog Fantasy, my favorite is the Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams line. You can find that link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. They're best ball drafts and no time commitment at all during the year. That's how I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last season. And if you use promo code FLOCK, they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com, ladies and gentlemen. But don't really know what we want to do at this point, to be honest with you. I don't know who we want to fall. I don't know what's the best player for us. We'll figure this out. Nick says the new Justin Herbert contract is nuts. Yeah, Burrow's contract is next. Okay. Now let's move this over. Jeep Guy coming out says, loving your content lately. We're 7 out of 10 for a Flock Mod PPR league. I need a few more mods to join if anyone is interested. Teresa or Mark Rizzo. If you are a moderator on the channel, reach out to Jeep Guy. Getting a Flock moderator league going. I probably need to make more moderators on the channel as well for the people that come out here every single day. I mean, I'm not good about making new moderators. I mean, we have a bunch of mods that we've had for years now. I need to make some new people some mods. Okay, Jared Goff goes. We'll take Gallup. Actually, do we try to swing for something? We're going to try to swing for something. We're going to take Tyler Higbee here, and I'm going to be very quiet about what's going on. We're going to see this. Gallup goes 142. I was assuming that Dak Prescott team was going to take Michael Gallup. That went into our plan just a bit here. See what happens. This team only has 2 running backs, being Derrick Henry or Ramondre Stevenson. They go Condre Miller 144. Okay. Let's see. Called on the clock. Roschon Johnson as well. So they go running back. This going right into our plan. We're right there. Sam Laporta off 146. The team right before us says 0 QB. Rashee Rice goes. I thought if we passed on Michael Gallup, there was a shot that we had Rashee Rice making it back around to us, and that was the main guy that we were looking at. Wanted to take Rashee Rice and pair him up with Skyy Moore, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Carr off the board. Probably go ahead and just take Adam Thielen. Yeah. Let's take Thielen. We were really hoping that we were going to get Rashee Rice. Maybe we should have just taken him in round 12. I don't know. Everybody instead wanted Justin Ross. I'm sorry. I'm not going down the Justin Ross rabbit hole. I'm not doing it. Not doing it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's move this down. All right. So Osborne, Komet, Tyler Algier all go after us. What we're kind of hoping for at this point is we are hoping to see some wide receivers get drafted. I mean, hell, at this point, we have 7 wide receivers in this draft. Shaheed off the board at 154. MVS 153. Maybe you can make an argument, Mason. If you don't get Rice, just take MVS. Maybe you could make said argument. Okay. Juwan Johnson. Let's swing this back around. We still need to go QB. I mean, we could go Stafford, pair him up with Tyler Higbee if we really wanted to. It's kind of tough, as I think at this point we may end up having to take 3 quarterbacks with this build. But Alex coming out of the donation, thank you, says, drafting August 5th with all college buddies, 12-team draft format. It's half PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 defense. 6 points per passing touchdown format. How should we adjust the rankings from the website? Should we move up quarterbacks? Okay, first off, my man, thank you for being a long-time member of the flock. I don't know if you're in the mod league, but Jeep Guy, if you want to reach out to Alex, maybe we can make it work. But second thing is, in a 6-point passing touchdown format, I do not move up all quarterbacks equally. What I do in a 6-point passing touchdown format in comparison to a 4-point passing touchdown format is I'm going to move up the quarterbacks that are pocket passing options that you're betting on passing volume compared to the guys that instead are the rushing options where you don't care nearly as much about their passing statistics. So rather than moving up all quarterbacks in said rankings, what I would prefer to do is I would prefer to go ahead, move up guys like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, move up someone like Mahomes, and move down the opposite end and move down maybe Jalen Hurts a bit. Right now, Jalen Hurts is my QB1. In a 6-point passing touchdown format, I probably have Mahomes ahead of him. And we could say the same thing if you look at my Herbert versus Justin Fields ranking. I'm pretty sure I have Justin Fields ahead of Justin Herbert. However, in a 6-point passing touchdown format, I would flip that. So, yeah, it's not necessarily that we are moving quarterback value up across the board. It's that we're selectively changing the kind of quarterbacks that we are targeting. And outside of that, I'd say that those rankings on flockfantasy.com should be great for that format, my friend. Should be great for that format. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Matthew Stafford at pick 164, pair him up with Tyler Higbee. I think we still probably want to take a third quarterback. But what's tough is I don't know if we're super happy with only taking 2 tight ends if those guys are Freiermuth as well as Higbee. But it is what it is. Taysom Hill goes 166. Ezekiel Elliott 167. Okay, Leonard Fournette goes as well. Alec Pierce falling a considerable amount in this draft. Jordan Love falling as well. In terms of taking Love, I'd be not too interesting. If we take Love, we need to have Jaden Reed make it back around to us, but I don't know. Kenneth Gainwell goes 171. So we have 15, 16, 17, 18. We got 4 picks left. 2 need to be running back. We can go 1 more wide receiver, and then we can go with an optional quarterback or tight end. So we're going to take Alec Pierce here. We've already bet on the Indianapolis Colts offense by taking JT. So let's double down on said bet by taking Alec Pierce here. And we are done at wide receiver at this point. We have 8 wide receivers. And let me show this team off to everybody here. So wide receiver, we're currently sitting with Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jahan Dotson, Skyy Moore, Alan Lazard, Adam Thielen, Alec Pierce. Running back, we have Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker. Quarterback, we have Tua stacked with Tyreek. We have Stafford stacked with Higbee. So we definitely need 2 more running backs. That's going to be minimum. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, Deontay Foreman goes 174. Would have been great having Foreman make it back around to us, right? Just very unrealistic to assume that that's going to happen. Like, very unrealistic to assume that we have that. Now, Jaden Reed goes 176. Seems like this draft's slowing down a bit here. So what we're hoping to see is guys like Tim Patrick, Curtis Samuel off the board. God. I know I'm delusional. I get it. I get that I've broken my brain. But in my mind, I have convinced myself, I have formed my reality around the fact that Trey Lance is the starting quarterback in San Francisco. I've really gone ahead and convinced myself that that's the case. Now, I don't know. It's just painful to see that your boy may somehow be wrong. I mean, I never would have thought in a million years that I could be wrong about something. But here we are. Patrick goes 185. Tyquan Thornton as well. Thank God. Like I said, we're done drafting wide receivers. We have 8 of these guys, and we didn't wait too long to start drafting them. Okay. ER7 says he can get traded. That's what we're hoping for at this point. Send Lance to Atlanta. Please help us out here. Help us. Free our guy, Trey Lance. NBF says there'll be some desperate teams for the best quarterback in the NFL. True that, my friend. True that. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Chu Bubbard. I mean, we need a running back. We have a piece of Carolina. Don't really care about that. We need an RB. He's the best guy on the board. And we're going to go with 1 more running back, and then we have the flexibility with our last roster spot to either go QB and pair up a quarterback with Tua and Matthew Stafford, or tight end and pair up a tight end with Pat Freiermuth, Tyler Higbee? Devontae Parker off the board, 189. And we're going to make our selection here, and we're going to go ahead and hop into our next draft. Let me check to see if the $1,000 draft is close to filling. No, it is not. No, it is not. Sam Howell goes 192. Bryce Young could be somewhat interesting. I mean, we have Thielen. We just took Hubbard. Maybe that means something. I don't know. Richard James goes 193. Wandale 194. Johnny asking how underdog tournaments work. I'll explain that in just 1 second, my friend. Let me make our next selection, and then we're going to bounce to the next draft. And as that loads, I'll explain how underdog tournaments work. The $1,000 drafts are tournaments as well. Okay, let's see. This is what we're looking at. We're going to take either Dawson Knox or Bryce Young. I don't know what the right answer is. Bryce Young goes, so our choice is made for us. We will take Dawson Knox here as our tight end 3, and we're just going to queue up some running backs. Boop, 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 boop. Not taking them in that order. I will go ahead and draft the guy on my phone, just making sure we are not going to accidentally take like a wide receiver. But yeah, so we're going to get into a Best Ball Mania tournament, right? So if you're looking at this, it's a $25 buy-in, $50 million prize pool, $3 million for first place. And obviously, this first place prize isn't just like who gets first in your 12-team league. Duh, that's not going to be the case. But in your 12-team league, you're going to play the fantasy football regular season, weeks 1 through 14, against the 11 other people that you draft against. Now, it's going to be scored based off the highest totals, so it's not going to be records. And now we're at it, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are at pick 1. But it will be your total score throughout the course of the entire season. And your automatic best starting lineup will be submitted for you at the end of every single week. So if we randomly take Van Jefferson and he has a week where he drops 20 points, he automatically slides into our starting lineup even if we weren't expecting it. But then after the first 14 weeks, the top 2 teams, depending on the tournament you're in, it could be more, it could be up to 4 teams or 6 teams. But here, the top 2 teams in your 12-team league will advance to the fantasy football playoff tournament, where you're going to be put into brackets and you're going to advance round by round from your brackets until the final round in week 17 against all the other finalists. And then that's how you get first place for $3 million, second place for $1 million, all the way down the line, my friend. So I hope that's explained it. I hope that makes sense. And we are going to go ahead and take Justin Jefferson at pick 1, like we always do, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know we only live stream if we're going to get the number 1 overall pick, which you better believe we're getting in every draft. And the reason we are is because I'm talented. All right? I'm good at this. I know what's up. How old is Melvin Gordon? Just considering possibly mixing him in round 18. Melvin Gordon age. Can people take a guess on how old Melvin Gordon is? Can everybody spam the chat? How old do you think Melvin Gordon is? Spam the chat. I want to hear your responses. Curly goes 30. 29, 32, 32, 28, 30. 29, 31, 27, 31, 33, 28, 33. At least 3. At least. Minimum. The man's 30. I believe he's like 4 months older than Derrick Henry. Maybe I can mix him in sometimes in the 18th round. We're going to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire here in the 18th instead. Pair him up with Skyy Moore. And maybe we should be bumping him up with Isaiah Pacheco injury, regardless of whatever's happening. So, yeah, let's go ahead and let's take him there. Kareem Hunt's already off. Y'all know what we go a lot of Kareem Hunt at that pick. But now, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown off the board at pick 6, pick 7. Bijan Robinson goes pick 8. So pretty standard draft. I'd say the biggest thing you'll see here is the fact that CMC makes it down to pick 5. You have these wide receivers going ahead of Christian McCaffrey. Ben says he played at Wisconsin in 2014. He was my favorite player. Yeah, I believe Melvin Gordon was in the 2015 draft class, right? Unless I'm mistaken, he was in the 2015 class. Okay. Austin Eckler off the board at 10. I have tried teaching everybody how to get the 101, my man. And it's not that hard, okay? If you aren't getting the 101, you just aren't trying enough. You don't care enough. The effort's not there. The intensity's not there. You got to show up every day and try your hardest, all right? You got to practice. It's not just going to happen naturally to you. You got to have hours and hours and hours of practice, and it's not just crappy old practices. You have to work your ass off in those practices too. And if you grind enough, if you manifest it, if you put in the hours, if you put in the work, you too can get pick 1. All right? There's no secret sauce. The secret sauce is called effort. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams go here. Love to see Devontae Adams ahead of these guys. Y'all know I'm a Devontae Adams fanboy, so at least this year at this price, I'm a Devontae Adams fanboy. Mahomes going to the Kelsey team to get that stack. Okay. Let's see. Barkley off the board, 17. Hurts goes 18. So sadly, this is not going to be the draft y'all have seen from me for I don't know how long now, where y'all know I'm just used to going Justin Jefferson, Jalen Hurts, and then essentially auto drafting the rest of the draft. But yeah, sadly, we're going to have to think here. Sadly, we're going to have to figure something out. You have Jalen Waddle making it down to pick 20. You know how many people are going to be able to pair up CMC and Jalen Waddle together? God. G-Bus, yeah, long time member of the flock. Happy to see you out here, my man. And yes, we have 1,000 people watching this. It's just absolutely crazy. And of course, if you have not done so already, drop a like, subscribe. You know what I'm going to beg for. Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, we're just going to auto pick him essentially. I mean, very few teams are going to be able to start off Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, T. Higgins. We'll set ourselves up with the ability to go possibly Joe Burrow at pick 48. Now, of course, it kind of depends on what this team here at 2 does that has Jamar Chase. If you see them go Josh Allen at pick 26, we'll probably be guaranteed Burrow, but instead they go Metcalf. So maybe we aren't going to get Joe Burrow there at pick 48. But nonetheless, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Bean says, do all the big fantasy creators do a draft together? So you all know we have a ton of fantasy football content creators on flockfantasy.com. Like the fastest growing fantasy football creators are on flockfantasy.com. And we're talking, I believe, next week about setting up like a pretty big, exciting league for everybody to watch. So we got some things in the works, ladies and gentlemen. We have some things in the works. Okay. Let's move this over. Andrews goes 29. I think very rarely am I going to be drafting Mark Andrews if this is his price. Like, we tried it yesterday for everybody. I tried going like Mahomes, Andrews at the 2-3 turn. This wasn't great. Okay. Now, of course, if y'all have not done so already, if you want to get into a draft with us, If you want to go check out any of these player props on Underdog, my favorite prop being Chase plus 25 receiving yards versus Devontae Adams. Y'all know we're drafting every single day on the live stream. Not going to miss a single day until 2024. And if you want to draft with us, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK gets you a 100% deposit match, gets you our 2023 fantasy football rankings, as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Ladies and gentlemen, best balls to no time commitment at all during the year. You're not replacing your main fantasy football league with Underdog. You're just having some fun extra teams on the side, right? It's like with my girlfriend, right? Not replacing my girlfriend, just having some fun extra girlfriends on the side. Same thing with Underdog Fantasy here. Okay. Deebo Samuel off the board here at pick 35. Swing this back around. Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson go 36, 37. And obviously, I'm joking. Yes, I am replacing my girlfriend. Yes, it was a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It was a joke. Okay. Now, Lamar Jackson off the board, 38. This is like the third or fourth draft in a row. God knows how many drafts we've done at this point that we've seen Lamar Jackson go in round 4. Seems like more and more often here, you are getting Lamar Jackson in round 4. Naji Harris off the board, 39. Okay. Teague says, does she watch the stream? She probably has never watched a video. She is in the house, though, so maybe she heard it. Maybe she heard it. But Justin Fields goes off the board here, 42. Honestly, a little frustrating. I was hoping that we were going to get Justin Fields pick 48 or 49. Very weird to see that team that takes Jalen Hurts at pick 18 going Justin Fields at pick 42. Don't love it. Maybe I'm just tilted. Maybe I'm just upset that we aren't going to get a quarterback that we're really excited about there at 48. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. Sees our secret plan here. Another day, another no $1,000 draft. Clickbait is working. Caesar reads right through our strategy of me hopping into a $1,000 draft every single day and people not being willing to draft against me and us having to come back the next day. So let me see how many people are in the $1,000 draft with us right now, but it does not seem like too many. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Hopkins, Mike Williams. Very rarely are you going to get the ability to take both these guys on the same team together. The majority of these drafts, you have both of these wide receivers going in the middle of round 4. So definitely going to be a very unique build here. Going Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams. And y'all know generally what we say is, going to be a very unique build. That way I'm able to have an excuse for having a very bad team, but I don't think this is a very bad team, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, definitely going all in on the Tennessee Titans offense, which you feel a little uncomfortable with, especially with how bad this offensive line is supposed to be this next season. But maybe we take Tannehill round 17. Maybe we just go all in on Tennessee here, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Now, Kenneth Walker off the board at 52. Justin Herbert goes as well. Okay, that team at 7 is so interesting. Wide receiver Brown and Ridley, quarterback Hurts and Fields. Tight end George Kittle. Interesting. Julius asking if we're still drafting off the stream when we are at the gym. Okay, so if y'all don't know, I'm actually training for an Ironman. And the reason I'm saying this is so if I don't do it next year, everybody can laugh at me and call me a quitter and call me a loser. But I'm training for an Ironman, which is, if you don't know, it's triathlon where you swim like 2.5 miles, bike 112, and then run a marathon. And for that reason, sadly, I'm not just lifting weights and doing the Stairmaster at the gym anymore, which is why we were able to draft so many teams off the live stream last year. Now I'm having to do a lot of like swimming and a lot of like running outside. So yeah, I have not been drafting nearly as many teams this year as I did last year. Like last year we drafted over 700 teams. I think this year we're going to be closer to like 450, 500. But yeah, like my favorite thing used to be like with these underdog drafts is just hopping on the Stairmaster and then, what's it called? Just like zoning out, right? Like not doing anything. But now it's a little bit harder. And of course, if y'all want to follow along like with us training for the Ironman, I really don't care if you do or not. I'd say 99% of y'all will not like this channel. 99% of y'all aren't going to be interested, and that's completely fine. And I'm not going to talk fantasy football there for a freaking second. But if you look up Mason Dodd Ironman on YouTube, should pop up and you can follow along there. We just started that channel essentially to keep me accountable. Is if we have like a couple hundred people watching each video and then all of a sudden halfway through I say, oh no, I'm going to quit. I'm not going to do this anymore. Then it's public embarrassment and hopefully it keeps me from quitting. Okay. Let's move this over. Lockett goes off the board 65. Kurt Jaw says, loyal Iron Man viewer since day one. Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it, my man. Okay. Jeep Guys has been loving the Iron Man channel. Honest. The video we did last, I think we dropped a video like 2 days ago. I was just like super lazy. I need to start like actually recording me like after workouts with like little recaps and stuff. I'll get better at it, but it's just something I've never done before. I've been lazy with it because obviously we're working so much with this channel. It's just like a little tiny side thing. But I'll probably end up putting more effort into it. Okay. Now, Dameon Pierce off the board, 69. Dameon Pierce definitely was the player that we were looking at here. Y'all know, in general, big fan of drafting Dameon Pierce at this price point. Mike Evans goes 70. Mike Evans would have also been someone I'm excited about. Now that you have him off the board, I'm kind of lost. I don't exactly know what we should be doing. I may mix it up, to be honest with you. Let's see what Stud Racer does. They go Addison. I'm going to mix it up. I understand that this probably isn't the best thing, but we're going to just bet on the Philadelphia Eagles. They have the best offensive line in the NFL. Let's bet that they are a very good offense this next season by taking the combination of Dallas Goedert and DeAndre Swift. I think Goddard's the best player available. Swift, I don't necessarily think that's. But at the same time, I mean, hell, kind of is what it is, right? Like, this is such a flat tier. There's nothing to best player available, blah, blah, blah. But Team 7 shows that they just have no idea what they're doing. So they go ahead and they take Trevor Lawrence to pick 66 on a team that already has Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields. So yeah, they essentially just donate their $25 to the league pot here, ladies and gentlemen. And good news is there's a free $25 in the league pot. Bad news is we do not have a quarterback, and it looks like they're going to be hard to come by. Now, Darren Waller off the board, 76. Quentin Johnson, Deshaun Watson goes 78. I kind of like our team, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, Jefferson, Higgins, Hopkins, Mike Williams, wide receiver. Running back, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift. I like this team. Okay. Ross Cred says Pierce to Swift is such a tear. I agree with you. I don't love the fit with DeAndre Swift playing alongside a rushing quarterback in Jalen Hurts. But to be fair, this is pretty much consensus to anybody you would ask, the best offensive line in the NFL. So I don't know. Lee asking our thoughts on Team 5. My man, thank you for getting into a draft with us. Let's check this out. CMC Waddle is an absurd start. Like, starting CMC Waddle, it's unheard of. Andrews pick 29. I haven't liked generally. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just hard to make Andrews work there. ETN 44, love the pick. Herbert 53. Pitts, Quentin Johnson. I like the team in general. I like the team. I think it's unique. I think it has upside. Obviously, you're about to have to slam wide receivers through the rest of this. But I personally have had a very hard time making teams with Mark Andrews in round 3 look exciting. Okay. John says Lions offensive line was top 5 too. Yeah, and Jamal Williams led the NFL in rushing touchdowns last season. Zay Flowers off the board there at pick 86. Okay. Bloody Eder says, why wouldn't join the draft 30 to 60 minutes before the stream if you knew it would take so long to fill? Maybe because you wanted to clickbait and rack up views. Well, maybe, my friend. I didn't want to join a $1,000 draft 60 minutes before the live stream starts. And then the draft starts, and all of a sudden I'm not live streaming, and I spent $1,000 on a draft that is not live stream. That could be option 1, or option 2 is we would rack up viewers. Your call on that one, my friend. Your call on that one. Okay. James Cook off the board to pick 90. Javonte Williams, 91. I mean, I'm definitely looking to go ahead and take Javonte Williams when he makes it to us. Just in general, you're never getting Javonte at this price point anymore, right? Tua goes 93. We still need a quarterback. Blah, blah, blah. Dalvin off the board. What's the news with Kamara? Okay. Here's the thought process. The wide receivers in this range are just gross. We take Evan Ingram. We're done at tight end. I'm not going to sit here and say I love Anthony Richardson, but in general, like if we take him over Michael Thomas, who the hell cares? You know? Who the hell cares? There's another team in this draft that went through and took Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, and Trevor Lawrence all on the same team. So I think at some point we probably have to go ahead and pull the trigger on a quarterback a little bit earlier than you naturally would. Anthony Richardson is a quarterback that has a bunch of rushing upside that we don't necessarily need to stack. So we'll go Richardson there. But Tommy Nose says, can you guess my next pick? I have to stop you. Stop us in what? I don't know. Tommy Nose here. Diggs, Amari, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Taylor, Dobbins, Javonte. I don't know what was. Oh, Freiermuth. Oh, okay. I got you, my man. Not hurt my feelings too much. Obviously, there was no way in hell Pat Freiermuth was making it back around to us. Pick 120. Same time, we already had Goedert and Evan Ingram. But yeah, you know I love the Pat Freiermuth price point. I've said this time and time again, but in general, I think Pat Freiermuth can outscore the wide receivers that he's being drafted next to. And you're getting the man with tight end designation. Yeah, so, I mean, you know I love to see that. Okay. Jamison Williams off the board, 104. Jeep Guy says, make Tommy Knows a mod. Oh, I didn't even. Yeah, I'll make Tommy Knows a mod. Let me make you a mod, my man. I know you're out here literally every single day with us. Bam. And just in general, like, if you're a mod, like, never ban someone just for, like, trolling the stream or being an ass, right? Like, if they're an ass for no reason repeatedly over and over and over again, like, hit put user in timeout, and that will mute them for, like, 5 minutes and essentially give them a warning, like, hey, you're ruining the live stream for everybody else. But don't, like, ban people permanently, right? Like, I mean, I have probably 100 comments a day, people calling me the meanest words you could possibly imagine and literally going out of their way and trying to ruin my day and trying to make me feel bad. At this point, doesn't really bother me too much. Really only like remove someone if they're ruining the chat for other people, right? As other people in the chat aren't used to people calling them nasty things nonstop. So like if you see someone in the chat that's being super rude to another person in the chat, feel free to ban them if you think it's necessary. If they're being rude to me, who the hell cares? Everybody's mean to me. But Geno Smith off the board here, 112. I think we're looking at Cousins, obviously. I mean, hell, we have Justin Jefferson. So if we could get Cousins, I think that'd make a lot of sense. But sadly, Kirk Cousins goes to this team that has no Minnesota Viking. Don't get it, but don't ask me. Okay. I think we have a lot of flexibility in what we can do. We can pretty much do anything but tight end, right? We can draft anybody but a tight end. And Maximus Prime coming out, joining the flock. Happy to have you, my man. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Okay. Johnny says, as much as I have disagreed with Mason over the years, aka as much as Johnny has lost money over the years, his reluctance to censor is one reason I come back. Yes. If we were banning haters, we would have banned Johnny years ago, particularly when he was screaming at us that we were wasting money taking Josh Jacobs. But it is what it is, my man. Tyler Boyd goes 119. Sadly, we're not going to get the value on Boyd, but we will probably, I don't freaking know. We'll just take Nico Collins and Devon A-Chain. I don't know what to do here, ladies and gentlemen. Literally no idea. When in doubt, split it down the middle, go wide receiver, go running back, take the guys at the top of ADP, diversify a bit. Haven't drafted a lot of Devon A-Chain, but I mean, kind of is what it is. But Brock says a new boosted pick'em just dropped. Let me see what you're talking about here, my man. What are you talking about here? Okay, so if y'all don't know what boosted pick'ems are, so let's see this. Let's see what's going on. It's loading. Just give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see the boosted pick'em. Oh, I'm assuming you have to go to the home. Okay, so boosted pick'em here is 1.5 goals against. I don't know who this is. I don't know what's going on. But whenever Underdog gives you a boosted pick'em, the math makes it where Underdog, like you are essentially the house. The odds are on your side. So if we assume that, say, all these player props are a 50-50 chance of hitting, you have to take it. So like if you go ahead and say take 2 of these bets, it'll be a 4x. So we're going to take the lower than on both of these. I'm not going to do one with the season-long prop because I don't want it to have to take the entire season to pay out. We're only going to be able to get $10 down on it because it is a boosted prop. Boosted bet. So we will take some random lower thans because it's been shown that generally the lower than hits about 60 to 65% of the time. I wouldn't be able to tell you who either of these people are, but if we get a boosted where we can go 10 to win 40, we're going to take it. But let's move this over. And Teek says, I lost the boosted yesterday going lower. I lost it as well going lower then as well, my friend. But the couple days before when they dropped like 6 boosted lines at once, I went lower on all of them, and we actually ended up winning like $100 total, which is kind of nice. But, I mean, I literally have no idea who the hell those people are and what's going down. But if I get a boosted line, I'm going to go ahead and take it. And generally, I'm taking the lower then. But Zach coming out with a donation. Thank you so much. My man says, get it done, man. Don't let it bug you. Plus, joined the flock the other day. So darn happy to be a part of something great. Thank you so much. My man, really, really appreciate you coming out and spreading some positivity on the live stream. Yeah, thank you, my man. Thank you. Jordan says, should have bet on Messi. Does Underdog have a Messi line out right now? Let me see. Messi. I do not see a Messi line out right now, my friend. Unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, I do not see a Messi line out. Okay. They did a Messi line the other day. I don't know why there wouldn't be one now. Is the game already started or something? But ER7 says they had a half a goal, but he's already playing. Okay, so he's already playing. That's why the Messi line's gone, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so Cole Kmet off the board. And yeah, let's get away from that. I mean, who the hell cares about that nonsense? Let's get back to this draft. And so we're going to be up on the clock. We can't go tight end. Even if Dalton Schultz is our favorite pick here, we can't take him. He goes anyway, so never mind. That wasn't even in play for us. I know who we want. I don't know if we get him, but I know who we want. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even know Bushes was in this draft with us. I didn't even notice that. He goes KJ Osborne there, 142. Osborne was not the guy that we were looking at. Stud Racer goes Higbee. So here's the F it. We're going to do it. Who cares? Y'all know I have been on record saying I think this Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver depth chart is wide open. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the teammates. I'm going to take Rashee Rice as well as Marquez Valdes-Scantling here. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pull the trigger, and I'm happy about it. Okay. Let's move this up as well. And of course, if y'all want to check out any of those pick'em lines, if you want to get the boosted lines, they've done them like pretty much every single day this week. Or if you want to check out any of these season-long props on Underdog, it's all in the same place as these drafts. It's Underdog Fantasy. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK with the link in the live chat, the link in the description, the link in the comment section, they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. JB says, Mason, what's the prize pool on the $1,000 draft? The $1,000 draft prize pool is $220,000. So here are the prizes on the $1,000 draft. We're still in this lobby. I don't think it's going to fill today, which is sad. I'll try it tomorrow. If y'all don't want me to try it and y'all don't want me to title the live stream $1,000 draft, let me know, and I won't. If you think it's obnoxious that we've done it back-to-back days and we've had both days it not filling, it's not even loading for us. I mean, my computer's just overhauling with the live stream right now. But let me know in the live chat if you want us to try the $1,000 draft again tomorrow. And if not, also, that's fine. But if we try it, I'm going to title the live stream $1,000 draft. And if it doesn't happen, we'll remove the title like we did in yesterday's live stream. But let me know if y'all think it's annoying that we've had back-to-back days where we've tried to get in a $1,000 draft. It hasn't filled, and we have to get rid of the thing. But try again tomorrow. Try it, but don't title. I'm not trying without titling it. If we're doing a $1,000 draft, try it. Yes, again tomorrow. Okay, so it looks like people want us to try. What I'll probably do is I'll probably take a look at how full it is. And if it's like not even close to being full, I probably won't try it. And if it looks like there's a chance that it fills, I'll do it and I'll title it per use. Okay. Okay, so Kenny Pickett off the board, 159. So we're definitely still looking at quarterback, right? I mean, we're still looking at getting Ryan Tannehill later on to pair with Henry and Hopkins. Definitely going to be a 3 QB build with us when we take Anthony Richardson and then wait so long to take our next guy. So other quarterbacks that we can be looking at. Stroud. And that's it. Literally everybody else is off the board. Literally everybody else. Like the offensive we bet on KC with Rice and MVS. We bet on Philadelphia with Swift and Goedert. We bet on Tennessee with Hopkins, Henry. Our early picks were Jefferson and Higgins, so all these quarterbacks are already off. Maybe, just maybe, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Trey Lance draft. Maybe, just maybe. Okay. Let's move this over. Curtis Samuel 166. So Carr was falling a considerable amount. He goes here to the Alvin Kamara. Yeah, that team has Kamara and Thomas. That's a great pick by them. We're going to take Deontay Foreman. We're not going to think about that one too much. And we're actually going to take Raheem Mostert. The reason being is when we take Devon Achane there, we essentially make a bet that the Miami Dolphins are actually not going to be bringing in another running back. And if they don't bring in another running back, that helps Devon Achane. That also helps Mostert. So I'm not going to mind taking both of those guys with that pick. But it is 8, ladies and gentlemen. So we're actually going to, most likely in this live stream here, we are going to fire up another one at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central. Of course, we are live streaming every single day until 2024. So if somehow you have not done so already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And of course, if you want to get in one of these drafts with us, today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after, or if you want to go check out any of these player props on Underdog, you can find that link to the Underdog Fantasy in the live chat in the comment section. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And here is where Underdog is available, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try the $1,000 draft tomorrow. Hopefully it works out. I'm very sorry that it hasn't the past 2 days. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really do appreciate y'all. And really hope that I get to see you in the live stream tomorrow night.